Hi, I'm Richard, and this video we're starting strangely in my backyard in New Zealand, despite the fact it was filmed over the last week in China. And that's because it's a little bit of a mess in a really, really good way. So I was in China at the Beijing Auto Show with GWM, and they gave me the chance to have a look around of the new Ora 5, which is landing pretty much now in New Zealand. And it was great. That video was all locked in to go. But then they gave me the chance to drive it a couple of times at a test facility. Awesome. Filmed some shots, add that to the video. But then they took us to a crash test facility and we got the chance to see one crash in front of our eyes. Even cooler. So look, there's a couple of joiners here. You get to see these three things kind of patched together into one video. Now, let's start in Beijing. This is the Ora 5. It's the second Ora to land in New Zealand from GWM. Previously, we had the hatchback. This one is an SUV, a small SUV, landing right up against things like the BYD Atto 2, or for that matter, the MG4 that's sitting across the aisle from me there. If we look through, the range starts at 36,990 for the Lux, and the Ultra 4 39,990 has a front mounted motor, front wheel drive, 150 kilowatts and 260 newton meters of torque, a 58.3 kilowatt hour LFP battery, WLTC range of 430 kilometers, which WLTC, it's, optimistic. I would say you're looking at about 350, which is really solid for a city vehicle of this size. Charging is also pretty darn good at 120 kilowatt DC, and we have vehicle load of up to 6 kilowatts. So that's quite a bit. Most BYDs in this space are only kind of around that 3.3 space. So 6 kilowatts of vehicle load means that if you do go camping, this thing's going to be able to power a heck of a lot. So far, we only have the electric one confirmed for New Zealand. And yes, we are getting this really cool pink color. Now, if you look at the car, we do get this very cute styling, reminiscent of the original model, also very Beetle reminiscent. We'll get these rounded headlights. Now, under the bonnet, there is no frunk, unfortunately, all full of electronics and inverters and all those kinds of things. We get 18-inch wheels on both the Lux and the Ultra. We have the charging port here. Now, this one won't open, but it's actually the GBT stated here, but of course it'll be CCS2 by the time it comes to New Zealand. And around the back again, really reminiscent of the hatchback model with the lights kind of tucked in here underneath the window, and a really kind of sleek rear end, no kind of lights down the side. Now let's open the boot. Electronic on this one. Now that's one of the key differences between the Lux and the Ultra. With the Ultra with the upper model you get the electric tailgate. Let's look in here. It looks relatively compact to start, but it is nice and wide. Is there any storage under here? Yes, lots of storage. Extra there, nice little cubby holes at the side. The boot capacity is 362 litres, which is pretty good for the class. It's just a really interesting layout, I think. Just a bit shallower, but that storage underneath is going to be really handy. Now, the blue light you see on the car here is a China thing. It shows that the car is capable of full self-driving, and you'll see specifically on this model here that it actually has a LiDAR sensor up on the roof to allow for that. Those blue lights go on when the car is self-driving. Now, we won't be getting that in New Zealand, but we do get a lot of safety equipment, 7 airbags, including a front center airbag, 360-degree camera system, adaptive cruise control with stop and go, lane keep assist, blind spot monitoring, AEB with junction assist and pedestrian and cyclist detection, traffic sign recognition and traffic jam assist. Now the car is not yet rated for ANCAP, but they say that is coming soon, and they do expect it to hit ANCAP 5-star ratings, and that'll be under the 2026 system, which potentially means that it's got eCall and other smart functionality like that in there as well. There's a whole lot of other smart stuff in the interior. Let's go have a look. We go in here, we have normal door handles. Thank you very much. And then inside we have this lovely kind of premium, but I'm sure faux leather, and the vehicle's perforated on these front seats. Now on the upper model, you do get heated and cooling on them. You don't get that on the entry level. If we jump in here, we've got really nice soft touch material all over the doors. There's really only down there that you get some hard plastic. Really cool speaker vents as well. And of course, electric windows for all 4 windows. We get a kind of a single bar across steering wheel here with lots of buttons. They are tactile buttons rather than capacitive. Big screen there in front of the driver, and another massive one there with the Maps nav. We've got Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, both wireless in there too. That is a huge screen. Now the software in New Zealand, Australia will be slightly different. It'll be Great Wall's quite highly developed Coffee OS, which will be hopefully a good thing in this vehicle. You get a wireless charger on the upper model. Cup holders, that's a nice phone holder or key holder or what else you put there as well. Ventilation, lots of vents there and there. They're all very directional. Again, soft touch all over the dash. I will say these seats are, for a small SUV, wow, the length of the base, which is really good for comfort for taller people, is absolutely epic. Glove box over there and center console here. No fridge or anything, but nice and long and reasonably shallow. Rear vision mirror, of course. Now, if I flick the camera around, we have a glass roof. Now, you only get this on the upper model, but it is really nice because it does give lots of extra headroom there. Yeah, pretty cool. And one last thing I'll point out is that these cars were really originally styled to kind of echo the Beetle. I guess a little bit of Mini style there too. These switches are very similar to the Mini. And I guess that should be a little reminder is that the Ora cars do share a lot with BMW's Mini. The original Ora sits on a platform that is similar to the platform that is under the current Mini EV in New Zealand, the Cooper EV. And I'm assuming this one shares some of that same technology. So pretty cool credentials here from GWM. Let's go try the back. Right, let's go and do the world's largest motoring rider test in the back seat. And you know what? It's not terrible. If I look at this, my feet are on the floor. The floor is a little bit high, but there is room under the seat for people in front. There is knee room here. So that was Beijing. Next we headed to Baoding, China, the home of GWM, to their test facility, where I got the chance to take it around a ride and handling circuit and also do a little bit of a acceleration sprint out on the facility as well. Have a look at this. Look, it feels good in this little SUV. They say SUV, but realistically it's slightly raised up hatchback. Grip's probably not there, but then we are driving pretty hard on these surfaces. But really nice steering in two ways. The steering wheel itself feels nice and chunky and grippy, and the steering itself is quite linear and direct. Finding this really very good. Ooh, traction control's kicking in there. Good acceleration. Wind up through there, round through a bit of a chicane here. Flip the corner there. Around here. Yeah, this feels really mature for a $36,000 little EV. Remember, we're doing 100k an hour through these corners, over 100k an hour through these corners. Coming on the brakes pretty heavily into the slowdown zone. Oh, very good. Very, very, very good. It's excellent, excellent. Okay, back with the Ora again, this time on the 0 to 100 drive or run. So, I've got a set target for this one, but what we're going to do is go up, load up, and drive as fast as we can till we get some blue cones and then hit the brakes. Okay, we're cleared to go and out of there. So that's pretty good. That's fun. That's fun. I guess that. Not every car has to be fast, but it felt sprightly enough. So next, and still in Baoding, we got the chance to go to their crash testing facility. Now, they're very confident this car will get an ANCAP 5-star rating a little bit down the line. So let's see what that means and how it looks when it's hit by a cart at around 60 kilometers an hour at the test. We are going to experience a crash test. It's going to get, I believe, 90-degree T-bone by a barrier that's going to run in from over that direction, and we'll see how it stands up to that damage. So that is the Ora 5. Now, it's $36,990 for the Lux and $39,990 for the Ultra, both plus on-road costs, of course. First cars are landing fairly soon, and GWM tells me that they're pretty much all accounted for. So you'll need to talk to your dealer pretty quickly if you want one in the near future. Now, my take on this car after experiencing it 3 different ways is it is just really, really good. It is one of the best handling in the segment. The build quality feels really good. The space is pretty reasonable. Like, it's a little bit smaller than the Atto 2, but it's also a bit cheaper. So that is really impressive. Kind of right size, right price, right tech, right looks. Everything is spelling out really good for the GWM Ora 5. And I think it's going to do really well. In fact, I'm really tempted by one myself. Anyway, that's it for this video. Don't forget, if you want more information, go to evsandbeyond.co.nz and like and subscribe below. We've got a lot more really cool videos coming. You'll notice we're uploading a bit more. Our subscribers are going up. So yeah, like and subscribe down below and we'll have more great content for you really soon.